There's nobody between us. You can do what you like.
Thank you, Felicia.
Yes, you are welcome. You
Mr.
are
Manning?
so-
If I had all the money in the world,
Yes,
We're going.
give it to them.
1 minute. Hey, $650, it better be right.
Hey, $1,900 and says 6:30.
He said about 5 minutes.
Yep. Don't worry. I'm gonna, right after correspondence, I'm gonna just start that immediately.
Ken, Lisa, Diane, how are you?
Extremely disappointing.
Amazing, Barry, how are you?
That is extremely disappointing.
What's that?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
You worried about it?
That
No,
is
it's just-
extremely
it's really
disappointing to me.
I'm surprised.
It makes, if you've never watched that, like,
That's
video,
okay.
I jump
We'll
every
hear
time.
about it because it's
I'll have
very
to watch.
unanimous.
No.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The regularly scheduled board meeting of the Clintondale Community School District's Board of Education is called to order at 6:30 p.m. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Michael Manning.
Here,
Barry Powers.
Yes.
Jared Maynard.
Here.
Diane Zantini.
Present.
Felicia Kaminsky.
Here?
Beverly Lewis Moss. Absent. Lisa
Yep.
Valerio now. Here.
That means there are six board members in attendance. And as I'm going down the list, I see our high school principal, Miss Melanie Cargill, is here. Hello, Melanie. Over there, I see our chief financial officer, Ed Mackinnon, is here. Next to him, I see our athletic director, Mr. Walmsley. Hi, Bob. Okay. And next to him, I'm having trouble going that far. The Melissa, our daycare director, is here. Fantastic. Perfect. Did I miss any administrators in the room? No? Good.
we have the next board member, Mr. Mark Titus, in the audience.
Okay. Since we're doing audience shout out, there are 3 graduates from the class of 98 here. I'll let them identify themselves. I'll leave it at that. I happen to be one of them. Okay. Board members, there's 2 things on the agenda. Number 1, the C2 Pipeline Grand Canyon University College Tour is being rescheduled for next meeting. There's something that had to happen with the presentation, so you have a copy of it, but at next meeting they'll be coming. And then under the consent item agenda number 6, it is supposed to be step 1 instead of step 2. So I'd like to make sure the agenda reflects those 2 items, please. So I'll need a motion to approve the agenda as I stated.
Move to approve the agenda as you stated.
Mr. Powers, is there support?
Support?
Support by Ms. Kaminsky. Board members, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. For the record, passes 6-0. Approval of the minutes. It is recommended by the board president that the board approve the regular meeting minutes for January 22nd, 2024. Is there any changes, additions, or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none. Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll a motion to approve it.
Motion approved by Lisa Valerio Noak. Is there support?
Support?
Ms. Kaminsky supports. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record show 6-0 in favor. Board members, we have 2 correspondents today, one from Carol Chapman and one from Mr. Dave Schindler. It is recommended by the superintendent and the board president that the board acknowledge the correspondence and receive them. Is there a motion to acknowledge and receive the correspondence?
So moved?
By Ms. Kaminsky. Is there support? By Mr. Manning. Discussion? None. Lisa, call the roll.
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Vote yes.
Ms. Zantini.
Yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Ms. Lisa Valerio now. Yes. And Mr. Maynard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. At this point, the chair's prerogative, we're going to put the superintendent's report on a little bit of ice here, because I did promise we would get something going. Todd, 6:33, is that good enough, buddy? Are you ready? Oh, yeah. Okay. I told you 6:40, I was close. So at this point, we're going to do our presentation from the Young People's Theater, Witches versus Princesses. Mr. Swanborough, take it away.
I'm not going to come up there. For those who know or may not know, for about the past 10 years now, we've had the Clintondale Young People's Theater doing shows. We have also been invited to perform at the Mid-Michigan Theater Festival for the last 8 years. The non-high school escape team get asked to perform in this. And we're going to have to audition to come. This year we did a show called Witches versus Princesses. And they got standing ovation. In fact, they got standing ovation when they did their roll call. So they kind of like. So we're going to do a dance number from the show. We're missing a couple of our kids that have other commitments. So we will. Melissa's not one of our kids. But we're going to have them up. So come on out, kids. Okay, and we're going to do a little short speech after that. So we'll do the dancing before you right now. You guys ready? Here we go.
Hey, can we pick them up on camera, Chris?
Beach Boys.
More.
I believe that ends our tale. And in this story we did not fail. To teach you a thing or two. But what you could or couldn't do. Read makes you blind to tricks and traps. And get you caged like some kind of rat. And a random act of kindness always wins in the end. And now friendship comes men. Choose not so much as keep going. And say go and peace remember this story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Just to let you know, every one of those kids earned an award at the festival. So they did really well.
Yes. Your stand-ins did wonderful.
Thank you so much for you guys coming today. Felicia and I saw that live. It was hilarious.
Missed it.
It's fantastic. Shout out to Melissa, graduated with you. Good job. Tyranny, good seeing you again. Second time. Good. And Todd, how do anybody watching us get involved with the Clintondale Young People's Theater? How does anybody get involved with the theater program?
An audition.
So with Clintondale Community Theater, Facebook page, video, blog, and then a lot more.
Do you have the play decided? Have you convinced your brother yet? No. No? I mean, do we need to have, you know, like a meeting, something, you know, an appreciation dinner for him?
We have to convince my brother.
Yes. Would you like us to have an appreciation dinner? I mean, you know, it's possible. All right, thank you. Thank you very much once again.
Bravo.
It's always a treat when the kids come in to perform. It's fantastic. Before I turn it over to the superintendent, just a quick reminder, the C Club is having their annual fundraiser Night at the Races on Friday, the 23rd of 2024. Tickets are $50. You can see any C Club member. Mrs. Walmsley's a C Club member. Mr. Walmsley's a C Club member. Mr. Titus is a C Club member. That's all I see in the room. Each one of us board members will be in attendance there as well. Tickets are $50. Includes a buffet dinner and some other full bar and entertainment. And there are plenty of sponsorship opportunities, 50/50 raffles, miscellaneous other raffles going on. And if you're so inclined and can't come, it's $25 to sponsor a horse that evening, and you can name your horse whatever you like, and it is a very colorful array of names. So I will leave it at that. And if you have any questions, see one of the people I mentioned, or if you're Facebook friends with Dr. Blasius, you can shoot him a Facebook message as well. All right, board members, Mr. Superintendent, an update on your goal for your superintendent's report?
Absolutely. So I'm going to pass down just a draft for each one of you. And I'll go over some draft topics, and along with the draft, I'll send also the draft of the communicator. Kind of ties in with the board goals. So within the board goals, we had talked about, for me personally, started working within the 5 areas of governance, organizational capacity and alignment, student achievement, operations, and then community and public relations. So I sent this draft goals with you in terms of looking for additional feedback and advice in terms of some areas to continue to move us forward. Really, we've, in the last 6 months, and I highlighted in the communicator, we've started to take off with some amazing things. From safety and security down to some organizational capacity, and really wanted to highlight some of those areas and keep that momentum going forward. When we start looking at student achievement, rather than coming up and creating new goals, I kept them consistent within the goals of the school improvement plan that we're working towards with our M-STEP and our continuous improvement, but also our continued focus on Tier 1 instruction. This is our first year in a long time. You have Heather Halpin working really hard in terms of that curriculum instruction, and she's just part of that initial goal that I discussed in the mini in terms of teams. So as you go through the goals and the areas, I have broken it down within the 5 areas. Within the governance, continuing to build those relationships, but also focusing on some core presentation areas to look at additional curriculum and instruction of what we're doing with Tier 1. What we're doing in terms of building that momentum with our students, looking at some student achievement presentations to keep all of you updated, as well as the building operations and budgets. We've really started to move forward with our CFO Ed over there in terms of what we're looking at. We've had some recent presentations, even tying into the sinking fund. In terms of organizational capacity, you'll notice there's things within there in terms of working to support administrative staff as well as teachers moving forward, and then all the way down to community relations. Excited to talk about the community relations one, as we did have an opportunity to look at our director of communication this week in terms of some interviews, and that process is still going. So as you tie that back in, tying it with the communicator, you'll notice there's some of the areas of focus are within the communicator. If you have any information that you want to share, communicate about both of those, please feel free to reach out to me. In addition to within the goal areas, I wanted to highlight a couple in terms of some upcoming information that ties directly with the goals, being some parent communication that will go out this week regarding the presentation at the last board meeting with our Early Childhood Center. So a parent communication will go out before Thursday of this week, inviting families next Thursday to a meeting. We'll hold it right here in terms of additional offering some additional information. That will just be one of many meetings that we'll have as we cycle through the course of the next couple months, looking forward to continuing to move our district forward, as well as some information about some upcoming kindergarten roundup. I talk within here about our student achievement and talk about improving M-STEP scores. Well, we've talked about it in terms of it all starts at that foundation. So this year, we will be implementing some kindergarten roundup as well as some screening of our students. So you're going to look for that on our website. We'll have some directing families there to learn more about that kindergarten here at Clintondale. Our goal is to have that roundup be in the middle, right in the beginning of March, right around March 11th through the 15th. There'll be 2 full-day activities starting at 9 in the morning and probably going until 6 o'clock at night. But I tie all of that in terms of within those board goals because it talks about ideas of organizational capacity and alignment. It deals directly with our student achievement of what we're doing. In addition to that, we'll be listing out some additional evening activities that will be happening as well as during the day, meeting with some staff to talk about some upcoming changes, meeting with both McGlennon, Rainbow, and Parker about what's the future. Talked a lot about in terms of also having some dialogue at the secondary level. I presented at the last board meeting that we're running at about 39% capacity and really trying to look to find ways to continue to move forward. Any questions?
Ken, I know you said parent communication was going out for a meeting with the parents on
Correct.
Thursday. Do you think maybe we could get some childcare for parents who want to attend that might have small ones, so they could, make it a little bit easier to attend this meeting?
I think so. Let me talk with Melissa as well as maybe even my cadet teachers. I meet with a group of 10 students on Wednesday for lunch. Some of them are the cadet teachers as they come over to my office for a little brainstorming session. Maybe I can talk with them about participating and helping out.
Very good, thank you.
Ken, excuse me, the date and time of this event again?
We're planning Thursday, and I really want to focus around 6:30, same time as our board meeting, and have it right here. And we'll do 2 this month, and we'll see how much commitment and how many questions there are, and then extend it out from there. So I'll send those dates out in terms of mass communication to the elementary families as well as share them with all of you.
Does it have to be a Thursday?
I can look at other days too. I try to avoid Fridays, and Mondays we're hanging out here.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean, there's always the option of for those families. If I have a large number of families that want to do it during the day as well, I'll be more than happy to accommodate an opportunity to be in during the day as well.
That would be a good one for me.
Okay,
Now, is that gonna be this Thursday?
next Thursday.
Next Thursday, okay.
Correct.
And
That would give some planning time for families,
Okay.
and we'll try to do 2 evening events this month, and then evaluate where we're at with questions and information and go from there.
Okay.
You'll notice on the website there is a sinking fund page there, as well as a 24-25 school year planning. The 24-25 plan is just the presentation from the last meeting in terms of my Google Slides. But you'll also notice there is that sinking fund page out there that's live right now as well.
So, organizational capacity question for you. Multiple board members have been contacted, and we have deferred to you. Have you met with Rainbow staff?
I met with Rainbow staff originally. I have not circled back to meet with them again. My hope is that on our late start day this week, I'll have some time to get over there to meet with them.
Okay. As a professional courtesy to you, I haven't taken a meeting with a faculty member unless they've gone through the chain of command.
I greatly appreciate that.
So, I do have a lot of people who want to talk to me about this plan, and they want to talk to a couple other people, and they want to feel heard. Unfortunately, the last meeting didn't go as planned. Sometimes closed sessions take a lot longer than necessary, or than a lot longer than I even thought of. And my fault for trying to get the lawyer out of here quickly. So I need to know when you've completed those meetings, because then I will contact those individuals who want to, who have asked to speak to me directly.
You're also more than welcome to send them to me directly if they don't have a chance to meet with me personally. So if I'm doing a presentation at a building and they don't have the opportunity to speak with me directly, you're more than welcome to send them
I
back
guess
to
I
me
would,
as well.
I guess I think you would, I would rather prefer that you take coffee and donuts and go and sit down and have a family conversation. This district is a lot about family, and just go sit with the staff in Rainbow.
Yeah.
You know, that was my initial plan, just to go sit and talk with everybody. In December at the holiday party, Kara talked to me at great length in the cafeteria with like 60 people around me, but it's okay, and she had great points, and all those points were at the forefront when I was speaking with you and I was making my decision. All 6 points, 4 main points, 2 minor points that she gave me. So I'd like you to sit down with them, because it was a shock, and you know, they have some questions, and you know, they might not understand why the middle school wasn't chosen, for example.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
And giving them some peace, and some other questions are, what's gonna happen? How are you gonna roll out? What are we tentatively looking at? I think it's important for you to do that.
Absolutely.
So please.
And just for the record, I have met with that staff individually beforehand already once, before the additional, because there was some talk about it, and I met with them with all the elementaries, but I would be more than happy to do another one with them. And I don't know about the donuts, maybe donut holes.
Well, coffee, bagels, whatever, whatever is appropriate at that early in the morning. But I think you should discuss that
Absolutely.
with them at great length. And, you know, it was a very, the decision was something that started with this board in a discussion well before Ken even got here, when we got the financial picture. So it wasn't, the first part of that was, as you recall, this board had last April, this board had to take a drastic step and authorize the superintendent at that time, Ms. Barb Van Sweden, to lay off up to 14 teachers. Now, through our great administrators who are here, a couple of them who are here, Mrs. Cargill and Maria from our middle school is here, and our elementary school principals, they sharpened their pencils, and, you know, we ended up only laying off one, I believe, right, Melanie? One music teacher, I think. We only ended up laying off one because of a certification issue, one.
But we also had some additional
Two.
long-term.
Two, art, there you go. And we had some long-term subs and stuff that we eliminated to make some stuff. And this is it's a tough thing. So I really want you to go to them, sit down with them, and talk with them,
Absolutely.
okay? And the other thing that I'm getting a lot of information on is giving more options to high schoolers as far as electives. I don't know how we can do that with what we've got going, but that's also been discussion point as well with multiple parents and teachers. And I get all this sitting at a basketball game. I thought sitting next to Mr. Woods, nobody would talk to me. No, it didn't work that way for me, so.
You know, I'm sorry, Mr. Maynard, the day after you said early, it's been before Ken was even around.
Correct.
I know I was here in the administration building, I spoke with Lee, I tried to find a business manager, but we didn't have one. The day after the teacher's contract was signed, I was here. Just because I just didn't understand the numbers at that point, so thank God with some of the things that were instituted, we didn't have to lay off, because at that time, I thought there was no other choice but to lay off 14 teachers, and that would have been a horrible thing to do. So my hat comes off to the people who avoided that with some good ideas and working hard. I know Ken,
Yeah.
since
If I
he's
could
took over, has.
comment on that as well, and I'm not sure everyone's aware, but Michael, like you were talking about, our budget is basically people.
That's it.
So our 85% of our budget is people, so when you talk about that, they did an amazing job, because when you have a budget where 85% of its salaries, in order making reductions, it's sometimes having to make those decisions, which is why we're really moving forward in terms of increasing the amount we offer our younger students as well as our childcare, to try to increase that number of students coming in.
Yeah, it's just, it's with Esser leaving, it's creating a crunch, and the state of Michigan right now has no plan. So, except, oh, you're bad again, so we're gonna watch you and we're gonna do what we need to do to get things together. So it's just things that there, and I'd like you to have that rainbow meeting very
absolutely.
quickly, so then I can have the people who've requested a meeting with me and Ms. Kaminsky and Ms. Noak to discuss their things, so I can
Sure,
keep
absolutely.
it together.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I received quite a few phone calls myself from individuals from Rainbow with big-time concerns and, you know, well-warranted ones.
Sure.
But what I tried to impose on them is like they thought that this thing just all of a sudden popped up. You know, this started quite some time ago, last year, and, you know, why don't you wait, why don't you wait? We can't. We are up, you know, we were up against the wall, and none of these board members here were here when that problem was caused.
Board members, just if you can remember to speak into the mic and
Oh,
forward
I didn't even turn
as a
mine
funnel.
on.
I know we're
Sorry.
trying to have a dialogue with each other, but
Oh, and lastly, may I ask a question?
if Ken's
Is Ms.
report,
Moss
yes.
okay?
Ms. Moss is fine, she just had another obligation tonight.
Oh, I was just wondering,
Yep.
I think this is her third board meeting that she's missed, and,
Well, let's keep it to the superintendent's report.
okay,
But,
I
yep.
was just concerned, I'm just hoping that she.
Shoot her an email, I'm sure she'll be happy to hear from
I
you.
actually did, I didn't hear anything back, but I
Okay.
was just hoping that maybe something bad, like cancer or something was involved, so.
Nope, she just had she had a different appointment tonight, and life happens to everybody.
Gotcha.
So with that, with your superintendent report, just if you could please accomplish that, because, you know, there is a little bit of, with any type of major change, there is some stuff. And then, you know, the discussion meeting was something that was, you know, on our end. It just took a lot longer. I'm not allowed to speak about the issues that were upstairs, but it wasn't issues that we could rush. We just tried to get the attorney out as quick as possible, and it was just two very tough decisions to make, wrapping up a lot of things in this particular item. So with that, anybody have any other questions for the superintendent? No? Okay. I will move to public comment regarding business before the board meeting. We good?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you reached out to me for something, I'm sorry. We encourage you to voice your opinion on topics on the agenda. Please stand and be recognized by the chairperson and state your name and address before commenting. To provide the opportunity for all to participate, board policy limits individuals to 3 minutes. To ensure due process and respect of individual rights, the district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. A problem involving an individual or a specific incident is best handled through administrative channels. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. Speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. Is there anybody wishing to speak about anything on the agenda here tonight? No? Okay, we're going to move right into the meat of the agenda. Consent items 1 through 6. First, a career option leave for Carol Chapman. Second, a resignation of David Schindler. Third, a parapro for culinary arts hire for Ashley Winter. Fourth, a maintenance level 1 hire of Terrence Perkins. Fifth, a specialized instructional assistant hired of Farhana Sultan. I hope I got that right. And then a 6th, a specialized instruction assistant for Laura Shepard. Does any board member wish to have something isolated? No? I would ask we poll the resignation of Dave Schindler.
I'm sorry?
I'm polling the resignation of Dave Schindler to the non-consent agenda. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. Then I'll place the item for Mr. Schindler at number 7 on non-consent items. So at this point, a motion to approve consent items as presented on the agenda 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 is in order.
So moved.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Support.
Mr. Manning? Any discussion, board members? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Vote yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Ms. Lisa Vallejo now? Yes. Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Non-consent items. The first non-consent item is a closed session. Board members, we're going to vote now for closed session, but we will go into closed session after the public comment period at the end. That way, nobody's here. Or no, that way, not that nobody's here, but they can have their say first, unlike last meeting. Yes.
I would just like to tell the people who stuck it out and the people who remained for a while at our last board meeting while we were in closed session, I apologize that it took so long. We came out here, we got done, we were back out here, I believe it was around 2:45 in the morning, and we still had to do the board meeting, which also included a 1-hour presentation from our superintendent. So I didn't get home myself till around 4:30 in the morning. Hopefully that will never, ever, ever happen again. But
Okay.
to
Thank you, Mr. Manning.
To the people who stuck that out,
Thank you.
God bless you.
Appreciate you. It is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education enter into a closed session as authorized by Section 8, subsection B of the Open Meetings Act for student discipline hearing. Board members, is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Kaminsky, is there support? Support. Ms. Zontini, all those in favor? Excuse me, we got to call the roll for this. Lisa, you got to call the roll.
Yes.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Ms. Santini? Yes. Mr. Manning?
Vote yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Ms. Lisa Vallejo now? Yes. Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. And again, after public comment, we will be going upstairs. 2, Teacher of the Year removal. It is recommended by the board president that the board approve the removal of Lauren Esminski as Teacher of the Year for Clintondale High School for the 2021-2022 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Kaminsky, is there support?
Support.
Ms. Valerio-Noak. Is there discussion, board members? So I was asked about this from a board member as to what we were and why, type of discussion. So I just want to pull something up here, and is this it? Okay. Any teacher in the room knows at the bottom of their license, they swear an oath to uphold the Michigan Code of Teacher Ethics. It's 5 things, and Ms. Osminski failed in all 5. In addition to that, she violated Board Policy 4202B subsection 2, Board Policy 4216, Principle 1A3, and Principle 1A5 of the Michigan Code of Ethics, and engaged in unprofessional conduct. This is a result of an independent report that was done by Recon Management. The board inherited a situation in which Ms. Osminski was reported to have had inappropriate relations with students, and the previous board forwarded that to the police. The police conducted their investigation once at Clinton Township and once at Fraser. Both police reports were filed and completed, and the board reviewed them at our last meeting. In addition to that, once receiving those, the board entered into an independent fact-finding investigation done by Recon to make sure that all of our employees acted appropriately in this matter. It was determined by that report and clear from the police reports that Ms. Osminski did not. I was then charged by the board to write her discipline letter and place it in her file and forward the discipline letter and the copy of the report as redacted according to our closed session to the Michigan Department of Education. The discipline letter is done. It's signed. It's with the superintendent. The package should go this week. This is the last bit of detail. And I just want to share with each one of you that I am personally offended by her conduct. This is horrible. She is, excuse me, the conduct is reprehensible and disgraceful. It is unforgivable in my eyes. What was done was horrible. It sent so many bad vibes through our community. It tore us apart while we waited for things to get done. It was disgusting. And this is the last thing that I have left on this agenda item. I can assure you that should I have been able to legally read her disciplinary letter tonight, I would have. But I cannot legally do it as of yet. This is where we stand. Now on February 17th, I think, is that correct, Ken?
16th.
February 16th, the teachers are going to have their meeting. It is a code of conduct. There is absolutely, I just can't say it under no circumstances any plainer than what I have, that this is reprehensible. Her actions are disgusting to me and to a great number of people that I know. And while they do not reflect our faculty as a whole, our faculty as a whole are taking training, again, on this very topic to make sure that the law is fresh and new, to make sure that the obligation is clear, and to make sure that if the obligation is not met, what is also clear. And those will be delivered by the superintendent on the 16th. This behavior is reprehensible, and it just chaps me even more that it was done by the teacher of the year. So board members, I don't think there's anything left to say. I've said what the lawyer said I could legally say on this matter. If any of you has any comment, if not, I would like to just proceed forward and put this disgraceful chapter behind us. Hearing nothing, Lisa, call the roll.
Felicia Kaminsky.
Yes.
Mr. Manning. I'm sorry, I'm just letting it out, yeah. Mr. Manning.
Well, just,
Ms. Dantini.
Yes.
Ms. Fowler.
I'm sorry, is it Mr. Maynard's motion?
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes.
Mr. Maynard.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Ms. Osminski?
Did you have a second?
Sure.
Just wanna make sure.
Yeah. Felicia made the motion,
Yes.
and Lisa seconded.
Pardon me.
Yes.
Just want to make sure we're in order. Thanks.
In accordance with that motion, please notify the MISD that she is not our teacher of the year for that time frame.
Okay.
Okay? And if there's any mention to our website, strip it. Anything on our Facebook, strip it. Period. Okay, board members, thank you very much for that. It's been something that's been, I stood from that podium and said we were going to finish this, and not a single one of us were part of the process. It was an independent investigation that led to those results. So we did our job. Number 3, social studies teacher. On this, I got a message today. I'm going to have Mrs. Cargill come up to the podium, but this is from her regarding this. Board members, this is the one I sent an email out about that I pre-approved the hiring for. It is recommended by the superintendent and the high school principal that the board approve David Taylor as a social studies teacher at Clintondale High School effective immediately, contingent upon physical records, record check, and fingerprints. The rate of pay is $81,932, which is step 12 of the EDS DOCT, salary schedule, prorated to the number of days worked in the school year. Also on this, board members, for the record, Mr. Powers, can I see yours real quick? Sure. Thank you. I received a email from Mrs. Cargill to myself and Mr. Janzarek, and I'm going to read it now. After interviewing several candidates, we selected Mr. David Taylor. Mr. David Taylor's enthusiasm for working with students and his willingness to ensure that all students learn and can learn. Mr. Taylor is very much a team player and has a plethora of experiences that can be utilized at the high school level. He has experience in both the retail industry and the business world, along with classroom experience. We truly feel that the experience outside of this classroom with his experience as a teacher is a win-win for both the CTE program and the social studies department. For these reasons, it is my pleasure to recommend Mr. David Taylor for the secondary social studies physician. Principal Melanie Cargill. Board members, is there approval for this?
So moved.
Ms. Kaminsky? Support?
Support.
Mr. Manning. Board members, do you have any questions of Ms. Cargill?
Yeah.
None? Okay, Ms. Cargill, we're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Let the board know it's 6-0.
Isn't there a
We gotta have a
roll
roll
I think
call.
we have to have a roll call.
You know, Jason Davidson told me I could just voice it all if I wanted to. Go ahead and do the roll call.
Okay.
Yes.
Kaminsky,
Yes.
Mr. Manning,
Vote yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Ms. Zantini. Yes. Ms. Valerio now, yes. Mr. Maynard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Number 4, retainer fee. It is recommended by the superintendent and the board president that the board approve the annual retainer fee in the amount of $2,500 for professional services from the Thrun Law Firm PC for the 2024 calendar year. This is an annual occurrence and the amount has not increased from last year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Kaminsky? Is there support? Ms. Zantini?
Yeah, okay, I had a question, but it's okay,
Oh, well, okay, we get a support, then I'll take your question.
I support.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Santini. Your question? Go ahead.
Oh, on this retaining, fee, is that non-refundable? If something was to happen, things changed?
So if we decided midway to go through,
Yeah.
the retainer fee is the starter of all, so the first $2,500 is what we paid on the retainer, and then going forward, so once you have an attorney, obviously the $2,500 will be used, and then,
So it goes
yes.
towards it. Do we have a signed contract with Thurm Law Firm? Do you actually sign a contract?
I believe we sign an agreement with them, yes, as a result of this retainer. I believe I have to sign one, yes.
I'm wondering, does the school district offer bids or anything like that? I mean, how did they get selected, or how
So-
do we select them?
And Mr. Powers had the same question for me. They were selected by the previous board for a term. After this year is over, we are going out to bid. And the reason we did not move on bid this year is because we have 3 open contract negotiations, and changing the railroad tracks wasn't gonna help us. So,
And my last question is, was there additional money spent because of the distance of East Lansing for them to come and represent our district? Was there additional charges?
In other words, do you go on the
Yeah.
clock
Do
when
they
you
bill
left
for
East
travel?
Lansing?
do they bill for travel is what
That's
she's
what she
asking. I don't know right off the top of my head, but I'll look to make sure in the contract if they bill for travel, because I can see that.
It's just my opinion that if we are going out, like you said, to bid, which I think is encouraging, but I think this is my own opinion, but I think that monies that are being spent, I think would be very nice to keep it in our county. In other words, to hire attorneys that are in Macomb County. And to me, I think that that'd be most pleasing. So I'm happy to hear that we are gonna be taking it out to bid.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Keeping it in county is better,
Yes.
better financially for us, yes. I agree with that. Okay. Ms. Noak?
I was just gonna mention,
I thought one of the reasons why they went with this lawsuit was because of their knowledge of educational law. And
Well-
that would be very important to us, because I don't want to be represented by someone who's just learning.
So when the bid goes out for the 20, in the fall, when we do the bid, that's gonna have to be something on an RFP. You have to specialize in education law, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And there are certain firms that do it, and there are certain firms that don't. So, but going into what we're doing in the next timeframe, and not to mention the excellent work, while I was personally aggravated at the time frame on some things, and how slow it seemed to have moved. But the excellent work from them also speaks in their favor. We avoided several pitfalls, and as we all saw from the last closed session, it was, walked through. And Mr. Powers and I had a different opinion earlier in the year. Sir, you're next. I'm sorry, Mr. Powers.
I just want to point out that this is not a requirements contract. In other words, we're not agreeing that they're going to fill all of our requirements.
Correct.
We can choose anybody we want, anytime we want, and I'm not sure whether it's the prerogative of the superintendent, or if it has to come before the board, but I think that the superintendent has the power to pick up the phone and make a contract with any lawyer he wants. So, for the 2,500, I think what that does is it locks in, if we do choose to use them, it locks in the rates, a little bit of a discount, and there are other benefits that the letter says they offer. Now, one of the benefits they talk about is updates on,
Are you on?
updates,
Okay.
certain free legal primers that they send out. And my only concern is that I don't think I've seen many of those, and I don't know if they send them to the whole board, or just to the superintendent, or just to you, but if they are gonna offer that as part of the service, then I'd like to make sure that we take advantage of everything they offer in that letter, to make sure that it goes to all of the board members, as well as to
Sure.
whoever else they're sending it to, so.
And I'll tell you right now that I don't recall receiving a free legal primer from them.
Yeah, I mean, it's outlined, all these other things they offer,
Sure,
part of the deal,
but
but
I don't-
again, not a big deal, but I'd like to get it if they're gonna offer it.
Correct. Ken, can you make sure that we talk to Thrun about that?
Thank you.
Mr. Manning?
I was a little bit confused when Trund Law came in. Only due to the fact that we had an attorney named Joseph Cimitero, who I believe sat up here with this board for 32 or 33 years. He was a lawyer that worked with us in good times and lean times. And in the lean times, was very, very, very good to us. And suddenly, he was just vanished last year after the new board president and the new board came in power. And I never really heard of a reason why he was excused. For 33 years, he was very good at what he did. And I'm sure that, just like Mr. Powers, you brought up, in case we do need an additional attorney for maybe something else, I'm sure Mr. Cimitero is not Superman. He can't do everything.
Sure.
So you would have to, maybe from time to time, you would have to use somebody else. But I just don't understand why he was let go. We brought Trund Law, and I just don't, I don't ever remember any mention or talk of why he was let go.
Let me do some work to figure that out for you. Hopefully by the next meeting, I'll get you an answer of what the reason was behind it.
I would appreciate it.
Any other questions, board members? Okay, we need a roll call.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Vote yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Ms. Valerio Nauk, yes, and Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Very good discussion, board. Thank you very much. Item number 5, Board Policy Revision 5202, Unlawful Discrimination, Harassment, and Retaliation Against Students. It is recommended by the superintendent and the Board Policy Committee that the board approve the revisions to the Board Policy 5202, Unlawful Discrimination, Harassment, and Retaliation Against Students, effective immediately. Heather Halpin, the Chief Academic Officer, has been named as the new Title IX Coordinator. Ms. Walmsley, what do you have on this item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, you're correct. Heather Halpin was just appointed as the chief, as a Title IX coordinator. So we had to change the wording in the
Correct.
policy. That's all we had to do.
Yep, the previous policy, I believe, had Dr. Hicks
Yes.
listed. So every time we change that, we'll bring this policy forward to change everything forward. So without any other questions from the board, Mr. Powers?
One of the phrases in here says that unlawful harassment is hostility or aversion because of race, color, religion, or any other legally protected class that has the purpose or effect of, and then it lists some other stuff, and then it mentions race, color, national origin. Michigan is unique in that it's one of the, if not the only state, that also prohibits discrimination on the basis of height and weight. In addition to, as I understand, it's being amended or has been amended for certain
Against it or
other
for
things.
it?
No, I'm just wondering, why do we list some and not others? Like, for example, race, color, national origin, harassment, disability, sex-based. If we're gonna list them, shouldn't we list them all? I mean, because so people know that you can't discriminate against somebody on the basis of their height or their weight.
What I'll do is I'll take your question back to Thrun, and I'll see what it would cost us to list them all. It's probably
Okay.
just a line or two. If it is, then I'll have them do that, and I'll bring another revision through the policy committee and back forward. Does that
Thank
work?
you. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the revision, please.
So moved.
Ms. Kaminsky? Support by Mr. Manning. Lisa, I need a roll call.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Vote yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Ms. Valerio now, yes, and Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Board members, this next section is number 6. It's a board meeting. It is recommended by the board president that the board approve adding February 21st, 2024 as a regularly scheduled school board meeting. We did a couple of little workings here, and from our June 29th, 2023 special board meeting, new business 3, was motioned by Kaminsky, supported by Powers, that we establish these following dates that were listed. And we listed today as the meeting, instead of going our 2nd and 4th, which would be next week. And then I'm asking you guys to put on the 21st, because we'll have some items of things to discuss, as opposed to just going without February.
That is a Monday, correct?
It is a Wednesday.
Oh, it's a Wednesday?
Yep, and there's a reason for that. Mr. Manning, there's a reason for that. If I went Monday or Tuesday, we'd be paying Chris in the back holiday and any custodian that had to open the door, any security guard holiday.
Oh, that's a holiday on
Yeah,
Monday?
they're out of school for midwinter break on the 19th and 20th. And any administrator that'd have to be here, so the 21st is the day to roll.
Okay.
Okay?
Then I'll let you know upfront, I cannot attend that meeting.
All right, no worries. Okay, and then, Ms. Kamin, let's just deal with the 21st, because if there's, on March 18th, everybody, there was a question on the March 18th meeting, and the March 18th meeting is there because the following week, which would have been our 4th meeting, I believe is when all the kids are on Easter break here. It's either the following week or the week after, if I can remember, but it's been a long time since Ms. Van Sweden put this list together, so I couldn't tell you forward. So if we want to adjust any other meeting dates, let me know. You have them listed here. I'll send them over to you. If we need to adjust them, I'd like to do them at the 21st meeting,
Okay.
and then be ready to roll from there. Okay?
President, if I can ask a question?
Speak in the microphone.
Just for clarification. Oh, sorry, just for clarification.
Sure.
So does this mean that in February, we will have 3 meetings?
Just 2.
Just 2?
Just 2.
Okay.
Yep, right.
Today and the 21st?
Today and the
Got it.
21st.
Okay.
Correct.
That's
That's fact. Any other questions? No? Okay, roll call vote.
Did we,
I don't
we
think
didn't
Oh.
anybody motioned or
I thought we did. I went through my whole, toosh.
went
You
through your
forgot a little part
soliloquy.
there.
I just, and Barry usually says, Mr. Maynard, you need to have a motion.
You even caught Barry sleeping.
Boosh!
Yeah,
I went quickly. Okay, I need a motion to add February 21st as a regular school board meeting.
So moved.
Mr. Manning.
Second.
Mr. Powers. Any discussion? I think we've had it. Lisa, call the roll.
Mr. Manning?
Vote yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Ms. Santini? Yes. Ms. Lisa Valliano, yes, and Mr. Maynard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. So everybody out there, February 21st is the next board meeting for the Clintondale Board of Education, February 21st. Okay, number 7, I asked to be polled. It is the resignation of Dave Schindler. It is recommended by the superintendent and the director of human resources that the board approve the resignation of Dave Schindler as the varsity head football coach effective immediately per his email dated January 22nd, 2024. Is there a motion to accept Mr. Schindler's resignation?
So moved.
Ms. Valerio, no. Is there support? Board members, is there support?
Support.
Ms. Kaminsky provides support. Board members, I wanted this item polled. Anytime somebody who moves forward in a manner of this and resigns, we should spend a little time thanking him. Just a little. I mean, spend some time. And it is one thing, and Mr. Walmsley, if you could make your way up to the podium in case I forget something. 117 wins, 15 playoff appearances, 98, I think he's the winningest coach in history at 98 wins. Am I right with that, Bob?
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
I
yeah,
believe he was
he's tied
also
with Coach
AD
Pisa.
for a period.
He's tied for it?
Yeah.
With Coach Pisa, correct? So he's tied with Coach Pisa for the most winningest coach in our school history. Many of my friends had him as a coach, and many of them contacted me. My phone, I mean, I don't know how so many people in the world have my phone number, but I might have to change it after a while. So as we are moving forward, because there is a posting out there for a head varsity coach, I would just like to say this. I would like to thank Dave Schindler for his years as the head varsity coach. The people who I went to school with, some of the teachers here on Facebook have been posting great things about Coach Schindler. I don't necessarily understand it because one of my friends didn't get back to me, but they call him Cool Breeze. I don't get it, but I'm sure he'll stop me in the hallway and tell me what he meant. I don't get it, but and several of them thought he was one of the best coaches that they had at Clintondale. So as he is moving on, and as we are moving on, I just wanted to make sure that that was stated for the record, and that Coach Schindler knows that there are people who support him and wish him very much well, and that here at the board table, we wish him nothing but success in his future. Bob, did I miss anything?
No, you covered it very well.
Okay.
Cool breeze has to do with Dave's laid-back demeanor.
okay.
Very easygoing.
Yeah. Well, I'll share a story. I was deputy treasurer in Harrison Township, and I was covering the window for one of the workers. And I'm scanning in tax bills and water bills. I'm not paying any attention. And up comes, Jared? Yeah, how can I help you? And I'm like, because you're in the thing and you get startled back. And there's Coach in there. He's like, oh man, you're really doing something in politics. I knew you were into it, but you're really doing it. That's great news. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. It was very encouraging. And he always came in and saw me when it was time to pay his water bill or something. Just stopped in. So, Dave, we appreciate your service. We thank you for everything that you've done. And we look forward to building upon the success. So, board members, that's what I wanted to say on that particular item.
Very well stated.
Thank you. Thank you. So at this point, a roll call is in order to accept the resignation of Mr. Dave Schindler as motioned by Lisa Valerio Noak and supported by Ms. Kaminsky.
There's no discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Manning, I went through discussion, I was moving.
I believe he was also AD. I don't know for a fact. I believe he was also AD.
He was athletic director before Bob, I think. Yeah, for a time span.
I would have, you know, I don't want to put myself ahead. Oh, sorry.
Tilt it to your face, there you go.
I'm sorry. I don't want to put myself ahead of anybody else, but I would have loved to have been part of the team that spoke with Mr. Schindler. I have known him for over 20 years. He would do anything for his players. We disagreed on his coaching strategies and things. We didn't really always see eye to eye there, but as far as a man and and loyalty to this institution, you couldn't find a better guy.
30 years.
His relationship with the football players, I've never seen such a strong bond between teacher and, not that I know that many teachers and their relationships with students, but he had a very, very solid relationship, and those players looked up to him. I just wish I could have been there to these, you know, it really took me by surprise when I saw this hit the agenda, that he had called it quits. And knowing Dave like I do, I don't think he did that voluntarily so much. Maybe there was a conversation on maybe a new direction we were going or something in that way, but it just, it took me by great surprise. And I want to wish Mr. Schindler all the luck in the world. He was very loyal to this school, and there's been a lot of very, very nice things said, and that makes me feel good that these things were said about him tonight before we do anything. Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Does any other board member wish to comment? No? Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Valerio, no? Yes. Ms. Kaminsky?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Ms. Santini?
Yes.
Mr. Maynard?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Now that that's done, Mr. Walmsley, I hope you find an incredibly good candidate.
Take your time.
Okay, we are now at the comment section, the general public comment on items not on the agenda. We encourage you to voice your opinion on topics not on the agenda. Please stand and be recognized by the chairperson and state your name and address before commenting. To provide the opportunity for all to participate, board policy limits each individual to 3 minutes. To ensure due process and the respect of individual rights, the district maintains a formal process for handling complaints against individuals. A problem involving an individual or individuals or a specific incident is best handled through the administrative channels. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. Speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. Is there anybody wishing to have public comment at this time? Please raise your hand to be recognized. Board Member Titus?
Can I just do it from right here?
Nope, come to the podium.
Come on up, Mark, don't be bashful.
State your name and address.
Never been bashful before.
I would like to make.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please? And hold on, I got to get your 3-minute clock running.
Mark Titus, address 26154 Captain's Landing, Chesterfield, Michigan, 48051. I just want to make 2 quick comments. It's been 7 years since I decided to step away from the board. I fought for the children for all the years I served on the board. And we've gone through some tough times. But I'm always focusing on the future because there's always something down the road. Bringing back an attorney in Macomb County, I think, is a huge direction that we need to do. The second thing you guys need to do is to have the attorney present at the board meeting. So when you incorporate a new attorney, and I know some of you are new at negotiating this, that you have that attorney present at every board meeting that you guys meet at. You need an attorney on your side other than Mr. Powers, and I'm not pointing any difference, but you need to have that attorney present at every board meeting you guys are at to give you legal advice and to tell you which directions you need to go to protect our children. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's your guys' decision on who you select. I hope you select somebody in Macomb County. I would love to see Joe Shimatero come back, but I don't think that'll happen.
Nope.
He's a great man. He's very loyal to this community and has done a lot of service, as Mr. Manning spoke. Second, I'm going to come back to my pet peeve that I was very proud of that we brought to this community. I'd like to see the student board members back to this table, a junior and senior, and I know Ms. Cargill is involved in that. The sooner you bring the students back to this, you bring it back into the community, because those 2 student board members, every month, I look forward to their reports on what was going on in this school. And you heard nothing but the gospel from those students as they spoke from that table. And I got upset because sometimes they were told they can't say things. We had one student that was worried about ceiling tiles in his school. That was important to him because he's seen nasty-looking ceiling tiles. This is where these children are at most of their time. This is their safe zone. You need to bring them back to the table. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing public comment?
Wow.
Okay, we'll close public comment for the evening. In terms to the gentleman who spoke to us, the policy is in place, Mr. Superintendent, and if the board is fine with it, can you work with Melanie and start the process on the 2 students? Yeah, it's okay, board?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe by the 21st, is that reasonable? Ms. Cargill, is that reasonable? Guys?
I'd like to work with Mrs. Cargill in terms of a process, in terms of
Okay.
selection, in terms of, it's that one.
I thought it was my phone.
No, you're all done. Time's up now. I'd like to work with Mrs. Cargill. I know I have a group coming in on Wednesday for a lunch, but I'd like to also talk with her about the selection. I want to make sure that we make sure we're putting some great thought into it rather than rushing for the next one. So I'd rather than rush for the 21st, but start that process with Mrs. Cargill and then start it up for the month of March.
So March 4th, we'll have the board members here? March 4th? Yes?
Barry?
Barry?
There's nothing before the board on this. So I was one, when I first got invested, I asked Ms. Van Sweden, I want to see a yearbook, I want to see who's on the National Honor Society, I want to see who the class leaders are, you know, about incorporating all that. And I was blocked from getting that information. But I'd like to at least have some thoughtful discussion. I respect everything Mr. Titus said. In fact, I've always been an advocate for having a lawyer here and also for having at least one student here. I'm not sure how 2 students would, why would there be 2? Why couldn't one just, yeah, I'm just, because I think it's a great idea. I just want to develop it a little bit.
So generally, we had a junior and a senior, that way you didn't always have to retrain, so there was always one
One or the other.
to retrain the next one, so that you didn't have a gap.
Oh, that makes sense.
Between,
Yeah.
the times that they served.
So were they considered sort of as ex officio board members? Were
So
they?
they did not have a vote,
Okay.
they could comment, most of the time they gave, kind of like the superintendent's report, they got everything.
Right, they got their
from-
own report.
From all of the, administrators, and they would report out.
Right.
At the board meetings, a lot of times they don't, we said, we were gonna say, but that's okay. And then if asked questions, they would respond
Well, if they're willing, yeah, power to them, because,
That was
yeah.
generally where they came from.
I took my son when he was in high school to the Birmingham Public Schools Board of Education for extra credit, and he thought it was like punishment. So if they're willing to sit through this, so be it, yeah.
So, Mr. Powers, you're all right, and when I say
I
the
didn't mean
4th.
to, I didn't mean to slow down the process.
No, it's
but
okay. When I said March 4th, they have to come back on March 4th.
Yeah, okay.
And there's a policy that allows us for it. We have to go through, we have to recognize them, we have to take a board vote, and then they can seat. There's a whole process that goes involved with that.
Okay, but I don't want to make any mistake. I'm entirely behind
Yeah, you are.
the philosophy of it. I think is wonderful. And
You have been.
And I want to thank Mr. Titus too for his comments.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, next is the approval of the bills, and then we're going to go upstairs for the closed session. So, does anybody have any questions on the bills?
Don't we need a motion and a support?
We
before
do need a
discuss?
motion and support.
How about I
yes.
motion that we approve the bills for January 29th of 2024?
Okay,
Look at that, she's very nice.
support?
Support.
Okay, any discussion? How about I start? Ms. Kaminsky, are your questions answered
My questions were answered to my satisfaction.
to your satisfaction?
Yes.
I have one question. Ed, are you around? Hey, buddy,
Yes, he is.
can you come up, please?
Hello?
Hi. What is a fall mat for the merry-go-round?
Oh, it's, you know,
Does it go around the whole thing?
yeah,
And we only have one merry-go-round?
to my knowledge, that's what it was spent for, yeah.
Okay, so we only have one, that's why we only bought one.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just $1,826, so I wanted to make sure we didn't need to have any more than that.
If you want to see all the playground equipment that we ordered for Esser, the breakout, you'd be surprised too, so.
Well, I'm thinking that, you know, if we purchase this, we obviously need it now, but
Yeah.
is it reusable for the new equipment?
Yeah, it can be moved.
Okay, so that's good. That's very, very, very helpful. And second, we need to get with operations because the loan for all the fancy LED lights was sold to the board last December, that it would be able to be paid off by the heat savings or the energy savings that we would save by switching the lights from LED or
Yeah.
from incandescent to LED. So we need to be making sure that everything is turned off appropriately as needed, and that we're actually making sure those savings are coming through. So, Mr. Superintendent, if you would follow through on that.
Absolutely. In terms of turning off those, well, we also have the sensors within every classroom to
Okay.
shut things down.
Good. And then have we done things to, I don't want to say, I mean, you know, in my house, we put plastic over the windows for the winter. You know, I know that's old school, but have we done things to help keep the heating cost down, but still keep the buildings warm?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We're watching bills, so I just want to make sure that we're moving forward with that. All right, those end my questions. Anybody else? Okay, all those, excuse me, roll call.
Ms.
Can we
Kaminsky.
excuse Mr. Macon?
Ms.
Oh,
Kaminsky.
Ed, you're all set, yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Could I just briefly comment on Mr. Titus's point?
No, because Lisa started the vote count. So after a yes.
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Vote yes.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Ms. Santini.
Yes.
Ms. Weeks Valerio now, yes, and Mr. Maynard.
Yes, 6-0. Mr. Manning, quickly.
Real quick, our next board meeting date is
21st.
the 21st, okay? Mark, I liked when we had it, but from my recollection, it seemed like it ran out of steam. And I don't know why that was. It just seemed like it started out good, but then ran out of steam, and then all of a sudden they weren't here anymore. And I don't know why that happened.
COVID.
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 Oh, that was,
That was when they.
No, I was talking when I was, like, the last time I was aboard, on this board.
He doesn't,
it was
way before.
Definitely before COVID. So I was just kind of wondering.
Okay.
I do also think it's a good idea just to have their opinion because they're here every day. That's it.
Okay. Members of the public, we will stand in recess while we go upstairs for closed session. Board members, it's 7:43. We want to start the closed session at 7:53. Give yourself 10 minutes to use the restroom, et cetera.
Any night of Wednesday, any night of Wednesday, any night.
I know.
I don't care if it's Sunday, I mean, any,
It started slowing down too, because they both play sports.
any.
Yeah,
was volleyball.
yeah, yeah,
Any
yeah.
day.
So Monday night
Both of them
was.
were, both of them were athletes.
Oh, is
The
that what
last
happened?
two, the
'Cause
two
I'm
before
just-
that.
he got fixed.
Miss William, or Miss, what's her name, was going around scooping everybody's stuff.
And he's one of
Board members, it is 9:20. We are coming out of closed session at 9:20, returning. Let the record state that Trustee Manning, Vice President Kaminsky, Treasurer Powers, President Maynard, Trustee Zantini, and Secretary Noak are all here and have completed our closed session. Board members, I am looking for a motion in regards to our closed session. Board members, I will offer a motion to expel student number 17500008309.
So moved.
Mr. Powers, did you second?
I didn't know whether it was your motion or Felicia's, but I seconded somebody's, but same
Okay,
motion, so.
sorry.
Did you make the motion?
I motion, yes.
Felicia Kaminsky
I wanted the
motion.
verbiage.
Second Felicia's motion.
Thank you very much. Call the roll, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the second.
Secretary Powers. Treasurer Powers.
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes.
They're turned off, I think.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Just scream it.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Santini.
Yes.
Ms. Lisa Valerio now. Yes. Mr. Maynard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Mr. Superintendent, please carry through with what needs to be done. Hearing nothing else good for the order, a motion to adjourn is in order.
Don't need to approve the bills.
I thought we did.
We did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, we did that
Pardon
part
me,
already.
Pardon me, sorry. I move that we adjourn.
Adjournment by Mr. Powers, second.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Powers.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
What's this?
Ms. Kaminsky.
Yes.
Ms. Santini.
Yes.
Ms. Valerio now. Yes. And Mr. Maynard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. The Board of Education meeting is adjourned at 9:22 PM. Thank you very much.